This video is going to teach you how to create a graph using Excel. So the first thing you need to do is to open the program Microsoft Excel. Now presumably you have been out into the schoolyard to collect rubbish as per the instruction in your task card. And you may have collected rubbish in one area or two areas, and there's a designated amount of time that you were to do that. You then might have categorised your rubbish into different groups, and I'm going to demonstrate how I have done that with rubbish that I've collected. So the area that I collected rubbish from was the Year 7 area. So I'm just going to write that down here in the second cell in the column A. So here you would write the name of the area that you collected rubbish in. And you now need to write down how you categorise your rubbish. So into what sorts of groups did you group your rubbish? I'll just make that a little bit wider there by dragging across the top. The first type of rubbish that I collected was fruit peels. So I'm just going to write that heading there. The next type of rubbish I collected was other food scraps. Now you can see that heading doesn't fit very neatly into that cell. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that row, move up here and click on Wrap Text. Now you can see it fits a bit better into the cell. So fruit peels, other food scraps. Other types of rubbish I collected were various types of wrappers, and I've decided to categorise mine in two different ways. So the first one will be wrappers from home. So these are ones that people bring from home. So things like Mars bar wrappers and muesli bar wrappers, things like that. The other sorts of wrappers that I am going to use in my categories are wrappers from the canteen. Okay, I'll just widen that cell a bit so that it fits in. Okay, happy with that. Now I will save my spreadsheet. Always good to save your work as you go along. And I'll call mine Schoolyard Rubbish. Right, so now that I have that, I'm now going to enter the data that I have. So the number of items I found when I was collecting rubbish. So the number of fruit peels that I found in the Year 7 area was 12. Other food scraps I found, total 14. Wrappers from home, I found 18 of those. And wrappers from the canteen, on this day I found 22. Right, so once again I'm going to save my work. The next thing I need to do is to create a graph, and that's why I'm using Excel. Excel makes it really easy to make various types of graphs, and they look really good, so that's why it's worth using. So first of all, you need to highlight the data that you want Excel to refer to be able to make a graph. So I'm just highlighting that table there. Then I'm going to move up to the Insert menu and select the type of graph that I want Excel to insert in my spreadsheet. So I wanted, for this first instance, I want to create a column graph. So I'm going to select this one here. All right, so that looks pretty good. That's pretty easy. There are a couple of things missing though. So if I have a look at this here, I can see there is a title, which is okay, but I think it needs a bit more information. Over here, there are no titles on the axes. And I know that for my graph to make sense to others when they look at it, there need to be some titles there. The easiest way I find to do it is to make sure that I have selected the graph, so that I get this menu up here called Design. You'll notice that if I click off the graph, that menu disappears. So you actually need to highlight the graph. Select the graph. Okay, so over here now are lots of different options for labelling. If you have a look at them and decide which one suits your needs best, then just click on it. This is the one I like because it has titles on the axes and it has a main title for the chart. Now, you might have noticed then that something changed. So the size of my graph changed and possibly the scale. So to alter that a bit, to bring it out again, just pick grab the corner and you might get more detail as you spread out. Okay, not too much different. All right, so I'm going to now modify things that I have. This title is not sufficient for it to make sense to other people who look at it. So I'm going to change it so it's more specific. So rubbish collected in the Year 7 area after recess. All right, so for me that's better. I can just move that across if I want to. Oops, that way. Grab it. Not now. Grab it and move it across. There we go. Got it. Okay, so now the titles. This one down here, I would call this the type of rubbish that I collected. Over here, this is all about how many of each thing I collected. So I'm going to call that number of items. So by highlighting that and typing at the top, number of items. All right. Now I can go through and change my fonts if I want to, just to fit my face a bit better. I could also create a background for this graph if I want to. But probably the main thing that people would want to do is to colour in these axes. So by clicking on it once and then twice, you'll see that it now selects just that one column. I can go to the home menu and choose another colour. So fruit field, I'm going to pick orange. Click on my other fruit scraps. That can be green. Scraps from home. I'll make that one red. And I'll leave the other one. That's fine. Okay, so again, I will save my work just so I don't lose anything. Now, I'm going to shift that up because I'd like to show you how you can create another graph. So there's my first one. I'm pretty happy with that. I can see there's probably a couple of things that I would alter, but mostly it's good and I'm happy with it. So I'm now going to create another graph, just a different type of graph, using exactly the same information. So I'm going to select the data again, move up to the insert menu and choose the kind of graph I want. So I want to create a pie graph this time. Click on pie and choose a pie chart. All right, now I don't really want it sitting over the other one, so I can just move it down. That's fine. All right, scroll down a bit so I can see it. Okay, so Excel's done most of the work for me, but there are a few things that I might like to change just so that it gives a little more information. Up here in the design area, you can see that there are various options for demonstrating different information. So this one here then includes the number of items, but doesn't have a heading, so I think I might choose this one here, at least it has a heading. Alternatively, I can choose the percentages one, or whatever. You can see there are various things there. So pick the one that suits you best. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that one there. I'm now going to just change my heading again. So rubbish collected in the Year 7 area after recess. Okay, save my work. All right, now the only other thing that I might change at this point is just to change the colours. Perhaps I don't like the colours so much. Maybe I'd like something a bit more vibrant. So choose one of those segments and change its colour. Choose one segment, change its colour, etc. Okay, until you're really happy with what you've got there. So based on the information I collected, I might then have a look at both of my graphs and decide which one is easier to read. Is it the column graph there, or is it the pie chart? Which one gives easier information? Which one is quicker for someone else to look at and get information from? And that's a personal choice. It's up to you. Which one do you think provides the best information to other people? I can see that in both graphs, wrappers from the canteen create most of the rubbish in that area. Possibly it's a little more obvious in this one here, but you might disagree. Anyway, I have now shown you how to create graphs using Excel, so you can now use your own data and enter it into Excel and create your own graphs. Good luck and have fun.